Today I want to direct your attention to the first chapter of Paul's letter to the Colossians, chapter 1, verses 1 through 14. And my theme for today is lead a life worthy of the Lord. And our focus verses are 9 and 10. For this reason, since the day we heard it, we have not ceased praying for you and asking that you may be filled with the knowledge of God's will in all spiritual wisdom and understanding, so that you may lead lives worthy of the Lord, fully pleasing to Him, as you bear fruit in every good work, and as you grow in the knowledge of God. Paul packs a lot into these two brief verses that are very important when it comes to you and I becoming more like Jesus. First of all, Paul is assuring the church, we haven't stopped praying for you. And that's one of the tasks of spiritual leaders, is to pray for their churches, for their members, their congregation, just as it is for all of you to pray for us who are laboring on your behalf. And the prayer is that you may be filled with the knowledge of God's will and all spiritual wisdom and understanding. But what's the purpose of being filled with all that spiritual wisdom and understanding? What's the whole point of studying the Bible or a catechism or anything? The whole purpose is so that, as Paul says starting verse 10, you may lead lives worthy of the Lord. And what does a life worthy of the Lord look like? Paul says it's fully pleasing to Him. Well, how do we do that? It's as you bear fruit in every good work and as you grow in the knowledge of God. So if you want to lead a life that's pleasing to the Lord, if you want to lead a life that is worthy of the Lord, Paul says there's two components to it. One is bearing fruit in good works, which is interesting because, there's always at least some people who think Paul is opposed to James and faith versus works. They both say the same thing. They just say it in slightly different ways. So it's bearing fruit in every good work as you grow in the knowledge of God. So what Paul is saying is, in your life and in mine, hopefully on a daily basis, we're seeking to become more like Jesus, to lead a life worthy of Him, that's pleasing to Him, by doing good as Jesus did and treating people as Jesus did, and continuing to grow or to mature in our knowledge of God. That is Paul's little recipe, if you will, for leading a life worthy of the Lord. Keep doing good, just like Jesus did, and keep growing in your understanding of who Jesus is and how He calls you to live as His disciple.